All right. All right. We are live, guys. We are live. We're now recording the session. So let me get you guys' full attention. Okay. Let me get your full attention. Let's see. There we go. I think I'm sharing the right screen here. Believe so. Oh, I'm not actually. Let me go ahead and share the right screen so we can get started. Okay. There we go. All right, guys. Last call, we talked about element number one. So personally for me, there are four different things that I look for, four different elements before taking a single trade, right? Last week we talked about trends, identifying the trend. Simply put, identifying the direction of the market. If the market is trending in an upward direction, guess what? You only look to buy the market. Okay, we talked about this yesterday. I can do a little recap on that, but we don't have a lot of time. So for example, if the market is moving in an upward motion, pull back, up, pull back, you only look to buy the markets, right? And vice versa, if the market is trending in a down movement, right? Down, pull back, down, pull back, you only look to sell. You're only gonna look to take sells. Now, the question is, where do you enter the market? Where would you enter the buy or the sell? And that's what I'm gonna talk about today by identifying support and resistance levels. Guys, you wanna write this down since you guys are beginners. So element number two is called identifying support and resistance levels. Okay, identifying support and resistance level. That's element number two. Again, there are four different elements before I take a single trade. And I know we're talking about HFX today, but this could also apply to regular FX trading, right? So let's get back into it. So step one, identifying the trend, right? You know, if the market is trending up, we call this an uptrend, right? There's only three ways the market can trend in, right? Downtrend. And then the last one is not really a trend, right? It's not really a trend. We call this a sideways movement. Who remembers? What's another name for a sideways trend, quote unquote? What's another name for a sideways movement? What do we call this? There's a few different names you can call the last direction. Let me check the chat box. Ranging market. Okay, there you go. There's another name that I actually like a lot better. The sideways market. What do you call that, guys? What's another name for it? What's another name? Let's see. Boom, there we go. Amazing, amazing consolidation or ranging market. Perfect. So you guys are paying attention. I love it. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to dive into support and resistance level. That's element number two, support and resistance level. See, you're not going to understand everything you need to know about support and resistance today, but you will get a good idea right now. But as we go through the course, you get a lot better. Okay, it's not going to just, so it's not going to be something you just understand right away. Okay, so let me talk about support and resistance level. Let's first talk about support level. What is a support? A support level is a low level, okay? So basically, another word to use for this is a floor. Okay, I want you to think about support as the floor, okay? Think about support as the floor. This is the bottom, or you can call it the bottom, and then resistance is the top. I call this the ceiling, like the ceiling in the house. The ceiling in the house and the floor in the house. Support is the floor. Resistance is the ceiling. Is this making sense? Now, I want you to imagine bouncing a ball. Okay, I want you to imagine bouncing a ball up and down. So if the ball touches the floor, boom, where does it go? It goes up. But I want you to imagine the ball went all the way to touch the ceiling. Boom, this is the market price. It moves in between support and resistance. Boom, floor, ceiling, floor, ceiling. So this is what we call support and resistance, okay? And this is the simplest form. There's different forms of support and resistance. But today, we're talking about the simplest form so that you guys can have a good idea what I'm talking about, okay? So think about the ball bouncing up and down in your room. The ball touches the floor, it goes up, right? If it touches the ceiling, what's gonna happen? Unless it's a magical ball, it will break the ceiling, right? But realistically, if the ball bounces up to your ceiling, it's gonna bounce back down, right? Boom, to the floor, to the ceiling. So the market moves in between support and resistances. It's gonna be your job as a professional trader down the road to identify, okay, this is the floor. Because sometimes sometimes what will happen is you're gonna think, oh, it's the resistance, but it will actually break through it. And we'll get into this later. Same thing that happened for support. You think this is the floor, but nah, the floor is probably down here. But for now, I want you to understand the basic concept of support and resistance. Okay, guys, if this is making sense so far, I want you to type 1 in the chat. If what I'm talking about so far is making sense, type 1. If it's not making sense, type 2 in the chat. I want to make sure you guys are engaging right now. Okay, if it's making sense, type 1s in the chat. If it's not, type 2s in the chat. Okay, let me know. Let's see. All right, I got some 1s. Excuse me. If it's making sense, please, please, please type 1 in the chat. All right, see, I see a few 1s in the chat. No 2. So it looks like everybody's following along. Well, guys, don't be afraid to stop me and tell me it's not making sense. Okay. All right. And try to remember this. Okay. If you need to write these stuff down, write it down, please. Okay. Anyways, so that's the basic understanding of support and resistance. Support is the floor, resistance is the roof. See if I can write this down, right? This is support, this floor, right? Then we'll put that down here. That's the support, floor, okay? And then up here, we'll put resistance, ceiling, all right? Or the top. Support, another word is bottom. Resistance, top, all right? So now, let's talk about support in correlation to trends. So I said earlier, in an uptrend, you want to look to buy the market. In a downtrend, you want to look to do what? Sell the market. Now, in an uptrend, let me check the chat. I see something in the chat here. I thought since you're on a recording, can you please pay so we can download? Yes, I will. I will post it in a group chat. Don't worry. It's a recording. I will put this in a group chat. All right. So let me go back to uptrend. This is on the left side. This is an uptrend example. By the way, it's not going to always look this clean. Okay. So that's an uptrend. And this is a downtrend. Boom, pull back, boom, pull back, boom. Okay. So let me actually put the uptrend. Okay. This is called an uptrend. Over here, we call this a downtrend. Okay. Boom. There we go. Now, support. I want you to, when you think support, I want you to think about uptrend. Okay, when you think support, I want you to think about uptrend. Okay, why do I say that? 1 second here. Let's see. Let's find something else. When you think support, I want you to think uptrend. Okay, when you think resistance, I want you to think downtrend. Okay. The reason I say this, guys, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm saying that is in an uptrend, your job is to buy, but you don't want to just buy. Okay. You're not going to just buy in an uptrend. Okay. Because if it's already up here, you don't want to buy up here. You want to buy at the support. This is the support, the pullback area. Again, let's say you log into your computer, the market was around this area. You don't buy here. You don't buy here. That's too high. You want to buy as low as possible at the support. That's why I say support. Think of it as, what you want to use in an uptrend. You want to identify the support in an uptrend. That's where you buy at when it comes to high frequency trading, HFX trading, time-based trading. Okay. In an uptrend, you want to buy, but at the support. You don't just buy just to buy anywhere. You buy at the support areas. Now, in a downtrend, we want to sell, right? You guys should know that you want to sell in a downtrend, but you're not going to just sell anywhere. You're going to sell at the resistance, at the top. Resistance is usually, you want to sell at the pullback. Boom, it pulled down, but the pullback, this is where you want to enter your sell. Boom. Okay, so let's come back over here. So in an uptrend, I want to buy right here. This is where I want to enter my buy, right there. If I miss this buy, market goes up, I'm not going to buy up here. That's too high. I'm going to wait for the pullback and buy at the support level. Boom, that's where I want to buy. Does that make sense? If I come over here to the downtrend, guess what? Market pulls down. I'm not going to sell right here. I'm going to wait to the pullback and sell at the resistance. Boom. Okay. Same thing. If I miss that, it comes down. I don't sell here. I wait for the pullback and I sell here. I know it's getting a little more detailed. I don't want you guys to be intimidated by the information. It might sound difficult, but it's really not. You're going to get used to this. Okay. But it's okay if you guys are a little bit confused right now. Don't worry about that. Okay. But this is recorded. You can go and watch this over and over and over until it makes sense. But this is element number 2. So your job on element number 2 is to identify where is support, where is resistance. Okay. This is your job, to identify support and resistance. Okay. And support and resistance gets a little bit tricky. Sometimes it's not as simple as a straight line, because the first example I gave you guys was, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. See, it's easy to identify support and resistance. What kind of market is this? What kind of trend is this? Who knows? It's easiest to identify support and resistance in this type of market. What kind of trend is this, guys? What is the market doing right now between the floor and the ceiling? What's the market doing right now? Consolidation, exactly. Okay. It's easy to identify support and resistance in a consolidation market, in a sideways trend. But what happens when it's trending up or trending down? See, support and resistance looks different. Okay. Support and resistance will look different when the market is not consolidating. And that's the last piece I want to talk about today. Okay. And I want you guys, see, some of you will be able to get this right away. Yep, ranging market, that's correct, right? It's easy to identify support and resistance in a ranging market. If I pull up a chart and it's a consolidation market, you're going to be able to identify the floor and the ceiling. Easy. But when it gets a little challenging is when the market is either trending up or trending down. That's when you need a little bit of finesse to understand where is the support, where is the bottom, okay? Or to understand where is the resistance on the top. So let's talk about one last part. So you know how to identify support and resistance in consolidation. I think everybody should be able to identify support and resistance. Literally, you look for the low form. The low is support and the high is resistance. That's it. Now let's talk about the uptrend. Where is support? Where is resistance? Okay, we already know this is support. Support is the low, but why there? Why am I selecting support? So there's different ways to answer that question. The first way is to, put a trend line on it. This is called a trend line. I'm going to put a trend line. This will tell me where the support is. Okay, so that's a horrible trend line, but you guys don't know what I'm trying to do, right? So if I put a trend line, every time it taps the trend line, that's a support. Boom. Wherever market is making contact with the trend line, that's usually a support in the uptrend. But another way to do this is to understand that previous resistance becomes the support. So when the market came up here, boom, and it pulled back, that's the low. But what usually happens in the uptrend is the high, this is the high. Okay, let me draw this. So this is resistance. And this is support. Resistance, support. But guys, a lot of times what end up happening is resistance becomes the new support. I don't think you guys are getting this. Resistance, let me do this. Resistance, if you go far enough, it becomes what? The new support. Boom. Does that make sense? This was resistance before, but in the future, that is your new support. Resistance, guess what? Market will come back to resistance and make it the new support. Okay, this will pull up and pull back down and then continue. Okay, I know that's a lot of information for you guys' level right now. You're new to trading. Okay, you're new to trading, but your job is to be able to start getting familiar with the area. Okay, so there are different ways to find the support and resistance in an uptrend or downtrend. That was just one or two examples I just gave you guys. Okay. So what I want you guys to do, I'm going to pull up a few charts and I'll start asking you, where is the support, where's the resistance? Because guys, this example right here in an uptrend, support is the low, but the market pulls up again. Market will find a high and then start pulling back. But your job is to say, okay, where is it going? And you're not going to get this right every time. Sometimes you think it's coming here, but it'll come even lower. That's fine. That's why we have 4 different elements. So for me, it takes me a total of 2 seconds to apply all 4 elements. Right now for you guys, it will probably take you like 5 minutes to be able to put everything together. But don't worry, we're going to get there. So element number 1, identify the trend. Element number 2, you want to figure out where is the support or resistance levels. Okay. Once you identify the trend, oh, we have an uptrend. Now your job is to say, okay, where is the support? That's where you're going to buy at the support. Okay. That's where you want to enter your positions. You're not going to enter or buy when it comes high. You wait for the market to pull back down to a previous high, which becomes what? New support. Previous high becomes the new low. Okay. Same thing. When we break this high, market tends to come back to it. Market likes to come back to previous highs. So we broke it. Boom. Broke the high. Guess what market likes to do? Come back to this area. And that would be your new support right here. Your new support right here. And then it continues to go up. Guess what? It come back to the previous high right there. And then continues to go up. Okay. And that's really how the market likes to behave. That's how the market likes to behave right there. Okay. Let me take these off. Oops. Yikes. Why is it not coming up? Let me just use the, usually I have a few buttons up here. All right, there we go. Okay. So I hope that's making sense so far. That's going to conclude today's training. Okay. And we'll talk more about this on the next call at 7 p.m., Nigeria time tomorrow. Okay. But the next session is 7 a.m. though. At 7 a.m., there's no time to discuss this, right? We just trade. But 7 p.m., we'll discuss element number 3, and we'll talk a little bit more about element number 2. Well, guys, I hope that makes sense. You're going to have questions. Let me know in the chat. But you guys have an amazing rest of your night, and I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. on the next trading session. Have a beautiful day, guys. Let's go.